4 steps to constructive problem solving review. First step, start soft. When you have an issue that you want to bring up with your partner, be gentle. The first 3 minutes of the conversation will predict how that conversation ends. So start out gently. Remember to talk about what you need using I statements. Express how you feel using I statements. And describe what's happening. Don't evaluate or judge. To do a soft start, often you really need to have some time and space between the time where you were upset and the time that you engage in a conversation. Make sure you feel calm and confident when you start this conversation. Try not to have this conversation in the heat of the moment. That's the first step. Second step is to accept influence. And this happens from both people in the relationship. Own your impact, right? If you did something or your behaviors harmed your partner in some way, acknowledge that. And so that's what accepting influence is. It's just saying, hey, I can understand from your point of view how that was problematic. And so step 1, soften start. Step 2, accepting influence. Step 3 is the repair and de-escalate. This is beep, 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 time out. Let's repair and get things down to a more neutral level. You can use the Gottman repair checklist if you like, or you can just formalize that you're calling out a repair attempt. The note I want to say is that if either person is getting elevated, if they're getting stressed out, getting into that beginning fight, flight, or freeze or appease, it's time to take a break. Remember, it's better to take a break than to keep pushing on. So that's the third level or third step in problem solving. And then that last step is to have a compromise discussion. So only after you do understanding with one another, then you can work on problem solving. So problem solving is at the very end. And you ask questions like, what do we agree about? What are our shared values? Where am I flexible? Where am I not flexible? And again, by talking and sharing those thoughts and ideas from each person, normally, I'd say, I'm guessing here, but I think about half the time, a natural compromise will just kind of grow from that dialogue. And then part of the time you have to do some harder discussions and decide where you're going to let go. Because in a compromise, each person should walk away from the compromise feeling like they gave up a little bit. And you gain more power when you're willing to give of yourself. And it's usually beneficial for the relationship. But it can't be one-sided. One person can't always be giving up their hopes and dreams and ideas. And so it needs to be balanced. Remember, if you want to, you can draw those circles, right? The outer circle is where you can yield. The inner circle is where you cannot yield. So there's a couple of different ways that you can do this part of the process. And don't feel like you need to do all of these steps in one conversation. You might need to do them kind of chunk by chunk, because if you try to hash it out all at one time, you might get upset and need to take a break. And also, you just might get tired, right? When you're parenting, you get exhausted pretty easily. And so remember, you don't have to solve everything at one time. And I would also say that if you get stuck in this portion, you might need to go down to the base, spend a few days building love maps, sharing fondness and admiration, and then try again. If you still get stuck, it might be useful to connect with a counselor or a coach to really help you validate one another and help maybe you see some blind spots that you might have, whether it's from your life experience, you have some blind spots, or possibly your sleep deprivation might give you some blind spots, but definitely your relationship is worth it. So investing now in problem solving in a really healthy way is going to prevent more long-term damage to the relationship. Good luck, and definitely review the materials. Reach out if you have any questions about this portion of the class.